What's up, guys? Welcome back to Man Cave Collectibles and welcome to another figure review. So today we're going to take a look at the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin Zordon and Alpha 5 2-pack. So this was a figure that I was able to snag on one of my recent toy hunts. If you have not checked out that toy hunt, definitely check that out. I'll link that up above. But I was lucky enough to find these guys at Walmart, and I'd actually forgotten that these were dropping. I just happened to come across it. I wasn't really particularly hunting this 2-pack. I knew I wanted it, as we've seen promotional images and that sort of thing. But I'm happy to have it, so I want to give you guys a review. We'll take a look at what's inside. Looking directly here at the packaging, we got I really like this 2-pack box art here, where we can see all 5 of the Rangers there, as well as their leader and kind of their assistant being Alpha 5. So we can't really see Zordon that well. I was a little bit concerned in the promotional pictures about Zordon just kind of having a really like kiddish toy look versus kind of an adult collector look. But we'll take a little better look at him and kind of determine what we think once we get him out of package. I think Alpha 5 looks fantastic. We can see that he does come with one accessory there, which is his teddy bear. We'll talk about that a little later. As we're spinning on around, really nothing there except kind of the Mighty Morphin logo. As we spin on around, we get a little better promotional image of what we do have here. We can see that Zordon says here we light up. So we'll take a look at that light up feature. And then as we come on around, we got warnings and different languages, that type of thing. Top of the box, same thing. So really most of our box art and promotional images are what we have here on the front, which again we think looks really nice. Let's go ahead and pop these guys out of their package and see what we got. All right, guys, so we got Zordon and Alpha 5 out of their packaging. And just to kind of cover it real quick, if you're not super familiar with the MMPR storyline, these guys really were part of the original team. That's where they kind of debuted back in the 90s. Alpha 5 was kind of the robotic assistant to the Rangers during Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Power Rangers Zeo. I think he even went on into Power Rangers Turbo slightly before kind of ending his time with the Power Rangers. So he just was kind of a clumsy, kind of on edge, nervous type of assistant that kind of ran around in the command center. He kind of manned the command center. Then as far as Zordon was kind of he was the leader. I want to say he was like a 10,000-year-old kind of fighter of good. He had fought off Rita Repulsa like 10,000 years ago, and she was able to trap him in a time warp, which is why we see him in the appearance that he is. And this is how he was in the command center, and he kind of gave out commands and offered his advice kind of from the way you see him here. So that's just a little bit of history about these guys. Don't want to go too in depth and bore anybody, but that's what these guys are. So they're in the command center. They're giving out commands. They're giving guidance to the Power Rangers. So we'll go ahead and take a look. We received one accessory with this, and the one accessory is Alpha 5's teddy bear. So this teddy bear only made an appearance in 2 of the episodes. It showed Alpha 5 carrying him, so he did not play a very big role. But it is a neat little kind of addition, I guess, accessory to this guy. There's really not many other accessories that would really be beneficial to him, so I think maybe they found kind of the one thing that was obscure and showed up a few times with him carrying it. The show never really even explains what it is. It's just a teddy bear with a robot head on it. But it's cool. It's well detailed. It's painted and sculpted very well. No articulation, no moving parts. Just a simple teddy bear. Moving on into our figures. So let's take a look at Alpha 5 first. One neat thing, about Alpha 5 that I always found interesting is you know, he has this lightning bolt on his chest, and really if you look at the lightning bolt that the Power Rangers use, which I'll show you here on the box art, it's really just an inverted lightning bolt. So you see here where they've got the Power Ranger, that's their, you know, their main logo. He has kind of that same logo on his chest, except it's inverted. So I don't know what the meaning of that is. If anybody out there ever knows why they inverted that for his chest, I'd be interested to know. Feel free to put it in the comments. But in looking at Alpha 5, really well done. You can see that he's painted well. I like what we see here. Lots of different paint, lots of color, lots of sculpting detail on this guy. Just kind of moving around so we can check him out. We'll look at his articulation here in a minute. He's a shorter figure, but looks really nice. Set him back. We'll cover his articulation in just a second. Kind of has those big, kind of clunky feet like we saw him with in the cartoon. Now, as far as Zordon here, it is just a flat back, so you can kind of set it up against a wall if you want to. Really no details on the back that you would want to show. I think it is kind of meant to, you know, you just take it and kind of push it up against just a flat wall, and you know, it's kind of perfectly built for that. But you can see inside that the face is real nicely sculpted in there. Looks like to be maybe just some hollow plastic, translucent plastic. That way when you go to actually flip on the light gimmick, the light just kind of shines through that. We'll go ahead and do that now. Let's flip off our review lights here, and we'll flip on Zordon. So that actually is cooler than I thought it was going to be. That's pretty impressive. And they even kind of have it where it almost has a little bit of a flicker to it, kind of like what we saw in the show. So you can see that it just gently flickers. So really, really cool. I'm impressed with this. I do like it better seeing it in person than I did when I was looking at promotional images and that sort of thing for it. I was a little worried about it, but I think it does make sense here, especially when you use the light gimmick on it. It completely changes the way it looks. So pretty neat little gimmick there. I like that. But it's a simple one, so there's really not a whole lot to cover on Zordon, so we'll just kind of set him off to the side. Now, as far as articulation for this guy, really not very little to no neck movement here. We can't really get that neck back, but we can get a full 360 spin on it. As far as his arms, we can get them up to about right there. This kind of shoulder pad here does hinder that, so we're not going to be able to get the full 360 on that arm. As far as his elbows here, we've got a single joint elbow, which will get us about 90 degrees. Here in the wrist, you do see that we do have the wrist articulation. We can get that back and forth a little bit. There we go. Pretty good. Slightly hindered by this kind of red wrist gauntlet there. We can get the full 360 on that wrist. Okay. Got a little bit of chest articulation, which is going to be hindered some by his kind of armored jacket type thing he has here. But we're able to get a little bit of ab crunch, not a ton. Getting back just a little bit right there. And we can go full 360 side to side. So that's sharp. I like that. Coming on down, we can get out to there on the splits. These do have a cut at the thigh, so you can get a full 360 on the cut. They did give him double jointed knees, which is nice. And then at the ankle, we get lots of range of motion down here. Getting plenty of range of motion. So you should have no problem getting this guy into a pose, even though we know this guy never really had dynamic posing per se. You know, he wasn't a dynamic type of character in the show, but still really nice looking figure. Really happy to have this guy. Let's bring in a few of the Power Rangers to kind of display with them size comparison wise. We'll wrap up our video. All right, guys, so just size comparison wise, we can see that Alpha 5 does fit in right where he should, probably right about chest level for most of the Rangers if we go back and actually look at that scale wise from the show itself. But here they all are together. Zordon is scaled pretty well. He's, you know, 2 or 3 inches larger than the Rangers. Obviously his head is, you know, half the size of their entire body, which is kind of what we saw on the show. So I think Hasbro did a great job with this. I really, really like this addition to my MMPR collection. I would certainly recommend, if you are collecting the MMPR, that you hunt this guy down. I believe he was $29.99 retail. And the Walmart I went to, they had like 4 or 5 of them. So I think they'll start hitting shelves pretty regular at most Walmarts here very soon. So hope you guys enjoyed this review video. Click that like button. It definitely helps get my material out there for folks to be able to see. I greatly appreciate it, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for hitting that button. Also, if you're not a subscriber, consider joining the Man Cave Collectibles team. We do pretty regular content, toy hunts, fairly regular. Lots of review videos on many different lines out there. I like to collect about anything, but I really like to collect statues, 6-inch and 7-inch action figure lines. That is definitely what I love doing. Comic books, we will have some comic book content on the channel, so certainly consider subscribing. If you're already a subscriber, I appreciate you. We're on our way to 1,000 subs right now. Hopefully we'll get there here soon. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Until next time.